Hello, everybody. This is Heather. So I was right about genetically modified wheat. I just want to say that. I said in a few videos recently how wheat is probably genetically modified and we don't know it, and that I don't trust Monsanto. And I just read an article on Natural News this morning that GM wheat was found growing in fields in Oregon, and so now all of the wheat in the nation that's, conventionally grown is going to be suspect to be genetically modified, and it is the glyphosate, aka Roundup resistant or Roundup ready gene that has spread across. And according to this article on Natural News, Monsanto did some testing, in 16 states, okay? They did that from 1998 to 2005, testing wheat. They needed to spread that testing out across the country just in case the pollen didn't float all the way from one state and contaminate fields so that they could go on to people's properties later while trespassing, spray Roundup on their crop to see if it's resistant and then sue them and put that farm out of business. Just in case that only happened to a few farms, they went and made sure that they tested it all across the nation, 16 different states, to make sure that all the crops got contaminated. This is, of course, hypothetical, but if Monsanto wants to sue me for slander, then I don't know. They can't get blood from a stone. I'm broke, so I'm going to just say this. And the problem is, as Mike Adams pointed out, genetic pollution, maybe their Terminator gene is switched off on or who knows if these seeds have the Terminator gene active or not, which is the whole controversy. One of the biggest controversies with GMOs is that they have this Terminator gene put in so that the seeds that come off of that seed usually are barren, just like the mice that eat the genetically modified corn. By the third generation, they're pretty much barren. Sometimes the second generation babies just die. So, but if it's turned off, because what I believe in is epigenetics, which means nature plus nurture, okay? If it's turned off, then it can just get turned back on later, but based on environmental triggers. So here we have genetically modified wheat that was allowed to be tested in open fields across 16 states years ago, and everybody that's been avoiding GMOs has been, still eating their wheat. I've been going grain-free for like a month, and I feel really, really good. The only time I don't feel good is when my kid, comes across some GMO crap that gets served, and I have to get on to him. But it's basically in the grains, and it goes back to that dream I had where, I was it came into my mind, the seed is spoiled. So it really sucks. We should be able to eat grains, not too much of them. They're kind of designed physiologically and nutritionally speaking for us to eat when we're starving. And I went back and I reviewed, because I don't know if you guys notice, I've been putting a lot of Torah wisdom in here, and if you can't deal with it, then just, I don't know, whatever. But I believe that the Torah gives us a lot of health wisdom, especially regarding GMOs. They're an abomination, just like vaccines are an abomination. And so I went back and reviewed Ezekiel 4:9 because I'm trying to look around and see if my Bible's over here, but it's over there. And that verse was, when it describes how to make your bread, it's for, like, prisoners. Go back and read that. It's a punishment. It's not like a punishment like, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, but it's what they fed the prisoners, that this is like, oh yeah, this is what you get to eat. So it was like a punishment. It wasn't like, oh, let's feast with our Ezekiel 4:9 bread on this special day. And then, of course, there's the Feast of Unleavened Bread, also known as Passover, in which, if you follow Torah, if you're caught with yeast-risen bread in your house, then you're cut off from your people for like that whole week. And so maybe there's some connection with the yeast activating some of this genetic abomination. You know, I really think that the Bible and science go hand in hand. So I have a science degree, but I also have a religious background as well, and I'm bringing more of that into this channel. So if you know, are eating wheat, you can't really trust it anymore. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. It's genetically, unless you don't care about GMOs. But if you care about your health, you're probably going to want to really start reading the Old Testament of the Bible, starting from the beginning. You'll find so many cool pieces of advice in there. Even, you know, like the sacrifices, it says don't eat the meat, don't eat the fat from around the kidneys. It says don't drink the blood of animals. You need to drain the blood out. You need to cut the fat off. You know, you need to, it also says you need to, when you move to a new field and grow wheat, speaking of wheat, you need to circumcise it, and it doesn't mean literally circumcise, it's a metaphor. There's lots of metaphors between health and agriculture in the Bible, and it says for 3 years you don't even, from what I understand, you don't even take the harvest. You grow it and kind of like mulch it or something for 3 years, or you use it for your animals or something, and then every 7th year you let it rest. Well, look what happened in the Dust Bowl. You know, people in, I think it was the 1930s, they just kept planting the same crop over and over, and their dirt turned to dust. If they had followed the wisdom of the Torah, they would have been fine. And also remember, genetically modified wheat is, what was it, 10 times or 40? No, it was 40 times more likely to be infected with ergot, which is a fungus that causes you to trip. It causes tingling in the hands and feet. It builds up in your system, and I think it's related to Morgellons disease, because if you go and you look up cordyceps in insects, you'll see these mushrooms popping out of them, and I think that I have a theory that Morgellons disease is just some crazy genetically modified version of ergot, probably from GMO food. Some people think it's from chemtrails, but certainly isn't going to make it any better. So, yeah, the Bible, you know, talks also about separating the wheat from the tares, and that is to help prevent you from getting the ergot poisoning. Thank you again to all my YouTube subscribers like Jay Chari and Tangerine, and all of you for just, and Alchemy for like helping me with that. And when I go back to the Torah, it just proves all of you right. And so you're like just blessings to me. And so now that it's genetically modified, though, you can't separate the wheat from the tares. It's all tares. It's an abomination. You know, the Old Testament talks about crossing species of animals. So now this is crossing, this is putting a gene which is Roundup ready, and I don't know if it's from an animal or not, but that is certainly a common practice with genetic modification. So if you follow Torah, then you need to avoid GMOs. If you have a religious waiver on vaccines, it's the same concept. If you're an anti-vaccine person, you're an anti-GMO person. And for me, it is a religious thing. So if I ever get confronted about my kid not being vaccinated, I can be like, watch my 5 million videos where I talk about it's against the Torah. Have a great day, and, you know, good luck protecting your children from this nonsense. And if you marched against Monsanto, bless you. I didn't. It was on Sabbath. So I did a video on some verses instead, but of course the media is not covering that either, because they're all puppets. And how do you know if you're a media puppet? Well, that's another video idea I have. I'll do it like you might be a redneck, but instead it's like you might be a media puppet, and I'm going to churn that over in my head for a while. Good luck being healthy. This is me looking out for you. That's my new tagline. Yeah, I like it. Bye. Oh.